Okay, story time. I'm going to share a story with you guys about my life, okay? All right, so I'm going to talk about the time that I found out that I had lupus, okay? All right, so I found out I had lupus. I would say I was around the age maybe 36, 37, somewhere around that time, okay? Now, my body was going through a lot of different things, but at the time I did not know it was lupus. I did not know that what I was going through, that it came from a disease, okay? Many times, you know, as people, we don't really listen to our bodies. We don't take time out to really, you know, to listen to what our bodies is trying to tell us, you know, because, well, I can only speak for me. At the time, I just felt like, you know, I self-diagnosed, you know, and was like, oh, you know, this. It's probably because of that, okay? But I was having like many different issues, okay? And I just made up an excuse for everything that I was having, right? I was having a lot of issues, you know, with my limbs, like getting, you know, just getting tired, having knee pains, ankle pains, Charlie horses, rashes. I started to lose my hair, you know, and I just had an excuse for everything that was happening to me. You know, I was like, oh, okay, so the patches of hair that's falling out, that must be because of the braids or the last shop that I went to. And I'm going to tell you guys, at the time, I had beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hair, you know, it was like just thick and nice. It grew fast, everything. Okay. But just started to get little small penny-sized patches, which I equated to bad hair shop experience, braiding my hair too tight, whatever. Everything but going to the doctor. I just felt like I had the answer. And then I was extremely fatigued, extremely tired. And then I was just like, well, you know what? I need vitamins. I'm feeling like this because I need vitamins, right? And then, you know, I had a lot of issues with my limbs. You know, my arms they would hurt. My knees and legs, my ankles, everything would just hurt. And then had feelings of like arthritis. It impacted the way I walked, and then it looked like I was having like mobility issues. And girl, it was just a mess. But I'm still at the time just still not thinking that it is something deeper, okay? And then one day I had went to my daughter's school, and when I went to the school, you know, they was having like a health fair, and I was just, you know, picking up stuff from different tables and not really paying attention to what I was picking up. I was just picking up stuff, you know, just pamphlets and stuff like that. So I got home, and I had put it like in a little bag. I got home and I just threw the bag somewhere up on my desk, you know, not really intending to read anything, honestly. Just put it up on my desk because when I got back, I was fatigued. I was very tired. I absolutely had no energy. All right, so I guess like months later, whatever the case may be, I was sitting down at my desk, and the little bag that I had thrown up there from a school fair, it had dropped down. And when it dropped down, this little small miniature pamphlet dropped down, and it said lupus. And I don't know what made me like just pick up the pamphlet, but you know what, I went ahead and I picked up the pamphlet. And when I picked the pamphlet up, it had like signs of lupus, and I started reading the signs. And then it said like if you have 5 or 4 out of 5 of these symptoms, you should get checked by the doctor. So I'm reading it, and lo and behold, every symptom except for one, every symptom that was listed, I had. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh my God, lupus. And, I'm like, oh my God, a disease, because it said a chronic disease, which means it doesn't go nowhere. And I was like, at the time, then I was starting to get a little fearful. I'm like, oh my God, I got a disease, whatever. So later I went to the doctor. No, I didn't go to the doctor right away. What happened was the little patches in my head, the little bald spots that started to come, they started to like burst. They started to burst, and it became sores. They became sores. So I was in excruciating pain. Like, it was so crazy because the bald spot, they begin to get real soft at touch. They was very, very soft, very soft. And then all of a sudden it became inflamed, and it just opened up, and it began to have like sores. So now I had like sores in my head, and it was very painful, super painful. I mean, it was so painful. And then I remembered about the pamphlet in the book, so I decided to go to the doctor. So when I went to the day that I did get up and go to the doctor, I was in excruciating pain, unbearable. It was so bad. And I had wrapped my head in like something like this, okay? Because I knew that I had to show the doctor. So I went, and I was crying, and I was trying to explain myself. And a lot of times when you go to these doctors, I'm telling you, they don't want, it's like they're not listening to you. So I'm trying to explain myself, explaining that I'm in pain. And one thing about living like in New York City, I don't know about other big cities, but here in New York City, because there's, an epidemic with drugs, and an epidemic with people, trying to get like pain medicines and stuff like that, the doctors are very skeptical, and they just feel like, oh, it's just probably another drug addict and trying to get some pain medicine. So, I'm fighting against that. I'm in pain, and I'm trying to explain to the doctor, and he's just kind of like, and he really didn't know. Honestly, he took out his book, and he was trying to look up whatever. He had no direction, and, he was one of the worst doctors I've ever had. I got rid of him after that interaction with him. So he's like, you need to go, I don't know. He was like, I really don't know. Try not to wash your hair with shampoo. Pure foolishness, he was telling me, okay? So needless to say, I went back home with that same pain that I went to the doctor with. And the situation just started to get worse. It was not getting better. It just got worse. And so I got on the computer, and I'm on Google, and I'm searching up lupus, and I'm reading about it, and I'm finding out information about it and whatever, and realized that maybe I should make an appointment to see a rheumatologist. So I called, made an appointment with the rheumatologist, and when I went to the rheumatologist, they did testing, and then they did confirm that I truly had lupus. So fast forward. Okay. I went through so much with my body. I mean, like, cause lupus is like a great imitator. It's an imitator of other illnesses, right? And when you think when you think you have this or that, it's lupus, or lupus induced, So I went through so much. I mean, from rashes, started to lose a great big amount of my hair. First it was just little small patches, but then I just started to lose a lot of my hair, and the lupus damaged the hair follicles or whatever. So there's a certain place of my scalp where my hair will never grow back. According to the doctors, it will never ever grow back. So and then at one time I had these lumps that they were inward lumps, they weren't outward lumps, and they were like in different places under my arms, in my back, on my thighs, so it was just another part of lupus, and certain things happened to me, and I went to the doctor and they really didn't know. One time my whole throat swelled so big and I couldn't swallow. I went to the hospital. They kept me for a couple of days, and they just gave me antibiotics and ran for a couple of days, and they really didn't know. So when I tell you that I have been through some things, I have been through some things, right? And sometimes when you go through stuff, sometimes when you go through stuff, you can like maybe move or react, or you entertain self-pity. And at one point, I'm not gonna hold you guys, I did turn inward, you understand, and I start to move or have the spirit of self-pity. And just saying, why did this happen to me? And I was so upset because I had very beautiful hair, and now I was going through where I was losing hair, and my scalp was bursting open, and I had pain in my head, and then I had rashes all over, then lumps was growing, and then my skin started to itch in no particular place, so I couldn't find the itch, and so now I'm like trying to find the itch, and I mean, I am going through, and then I'm like, Lord, I can't take no more. Why did this happen to me? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so ugly. Look at my hair, and then I had to, start wearing the wigs and trying to find out how to fix the wigs. All to this day, I'm not the best wig fixer. I mean, I had to go through, and then one day, I just couldn't take myself no more. I could not take the self-pity, the way that I was acting. I just couldn't take it anymore, And I said to myself one day, because I was dragging it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was dragging it. I don't want to be bothered. My life is over. You understand? And I just couldn't take my behavior, especially being a child of God and knowing the Lord, having a relationship with God and knowing what the promises of God. And I was just acting total different. You know what I'm saying? Everything, just not really acting in faith that the way I know, just wasn't doing it. And one day I just got tired of myself because I said, you know what, girl, you doing too much. Because sitting here dwelling on everything that is wrong, it's not helping you any. You understand? You up there crying. This is me speaking to myself. You're crying. You understand? You seeing everything in the worst way. You understand? You're not even thanking God for what's going right. You understand? And this is how, I'm just reasoning with myself. And I just realized one day, I just woke up, a light bulb went off in my head. And I realized, you know what? Yes, this is going on with my body. That is going on with my body. Yes, this happened, but I'm still here. I am still in the land of the living. I am still here. I still have the use of my limbs. I still have a beautiful mind. And I just came to the resolution that I was not going to allow lupus, you understand, to stop me. I just said, you know what? No, absolutely not. And even though things may not be the way that I want them to be, but guess what? I'm still here. I'm still here. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to, I just got to make it do what it do and just thank the Lord. Because there are some people, you understand, that they can't even do what you're doing. There's some people who are worse than what you are. And you got the nerve, my girl, to be sitting up there being ungrateful. So I shook myself and I woke myself up. And I just thank God that I did, even though my body was rocking with pain, but I still had my body. I still had the use of my limbs. I still was able to walk. I'm able to see. I'm able to hear. You understand? And guess what? Although I was having issues with my hair, thank God somebody invented wigs, because I can go get a good wig. You understand? And I can just put that wig on and keep it going. And guess what? Now I'm able to do any style that I want at any given time. So I had to change my perception. I had to change the way I was thinking and start to concentrate on the good, because whatever you concentrate on, that thing will live in your mind and in your thoughts. So I had to change my thought pattern. I had to change my perception, and I had to look at what was good and just thank God for what was good in my life. Number one, I woke up. Number 2, I'm still walking. Number 3, I still got my 2 hands. You understand what I'm saying? I can go and buy myself wigs. You understand? You know, I'm still learning. I'm still creating. So I had to change my perception, honey. I had to get off the negative road and make sure I turn on the positive road, because things could be worse. Things could be worse. So yes, what am I saying here? What I'm saying is, yes, you may be going through. I get it. I get it. And guess what? It's okay to acknowledge and say, yes, I'm going through. Yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I don't understand what I'm going. You can even say, I don't deserve this, and get it out your system. But you say to yourself, things are going to get better. This too shall pass. I know that God has got my back. Come on, somebody. You got to speak that. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Come on. That's what you got to start speaking to yourself. That's what you got to start telling yourself. You understand? And when you do that, I'm telling you, the cloud of heaviness, the cloud of depression, the cloud, of defeat, those things will be lifted. Will you still have the problem? Yes, you will. Will you still have the situation? Yes, you will. But your perception will be different. You understand? And you will be like that little train. You will be like, I think I can. I think I can. Until your perception comes to, guess what? I know I can. I know I can. I know I'm going to get through this. I know that this situation is going to get better. And I know another situation is going to come. You understand? But guess what? Guess what? I'm going to fight. I'm going to be a contender. As long as you live, you got to be a contender. And a contender is a fighter. Amen. Come on. We fight back. That's what we do. We fight back. All right. So I hope that you guys got something out of the story time. Okay. And I want you guys, you understand, to remember that you are blessed and you are highly favored. Mwah, mwah, mwah.